Hey, what's going on? Here at work, a little bit slow, so I figured I'd come in and see if we could, talk for a little bit. If I could talk to you for a little bit. Wish you could talk back. It would make this a lot easier, to be honest with you. Um, I'm a lock and dam operator for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers at Lock and Dam 25 in Winfield, Missouri. If you've never heard of it, you never will. Don't worry, you're not missing anything. I got this job on a chance. It was a weird, I don't want to say that it was a last kind of opportunity, but I was getting a little bit older. I was 35 when I started here, so I'm like 34 years old, right? Had been doing drugs, like I said in my intro video. Former drug addict. This year in September will be 8 years sober, 8 years clean. So I'm very proud of that. I don't know, man. It kicked off like back pain and normal shit from the Marines, whatever it was, but kicked off with some easy painkillers, and then that went way out of control. And then some people around me, people I'm very close to, unfortunately some family, were heavy into speed, meth. So I got into that too. Not proud to say, but if it helps somebody, I'll tell you all about it. So yeah, use one to go down and feel nothing. Use the other one to come up and feel nothing. Really just empty life, right? So I made a promise to my then girlfriend, now wife, September 21st, 2016. We were going to some like couples counseling type of shit, which really had more to do with my addiction, of course. And we got out to the car one day, and on September 21st, and she said, "I love you and I love those kids, but I just won't watch you kill yourself." I think she pretty much knew it was either going to be that or prison for sure. I was running with some wild people doing some even worse things, so nothing good was going to come out of it. Did the Iraq thing and had like a really good short time in the Marine Corps. I'm going to save that for another video, but I've done some things I'm very proud of. Then I started doing a bunch of things that I'm still, it's embarrassing. I guess, of course, I'm ashamed of it. I just wish I wouldn't have done it all, but it's what it is, and I know that it made me a better person, so whatever. So she says, "I'm not going to watch you kill yourself," and I said, "I quit." And I just quit. Since September 21st, 2016, I have not used or been around painkillers. As a matter of fact, I just went and picked her some up from for a little surgery she had the other day. We just talked about it on a podcast, and I had zero. That bad voice that's usually calling me just wasn't there anymore, man. So it was awesome. So I'm going to some. It was called Smart Recovery. It was over at Scott Air Force Base with a counselor of mine, Chris Figuera. I owe this dude a lot. And an opportunity came up. This all relates to how I got my job and my career here. So just stand by. I'll catch you up in a minute. So I get this opportunity down at the federal building downtown St. Louis. This man named Sonny worked for the Army Corps of Engineers. Had done a lot of shit in his career. Long career. I think he just retired a couple years ago, but a long, great career with the Corps of Engineers as an archaeologist. One of his big claims to fame was excavating Saddam's mass graves in Iraq. I don't know a whole lot about that. He came in and talked to us one day, but that was in 2017, so I don't remember a whole lot about the details. But he showed us some photos, and I mean, some nasty shit, man. It's pretty rough. So in a roundabout way, he figured out, that guys and girls coming home lacked a lot of the office skills, if you will, right? Emailing and I don't even think we were faxing, but you know what I mean. Emailing and scanning and all that shit, stuff I still I'm not good at. But anyway, so he saw an opportunity to give people some skills that could help them transition from the military to the civilian world. So it's a 5-month program. My counselor, Chris, has this group of veterans that are all in this recovery program. And he tells all of us, look, man, there's this opportunity. It's like 5 months. It's really good pay. The goal of this opportunity, the goal of the class, if you will, is to try to get a job with the Corps of Engineers. If you know anything about the Corps of Engineers, the umbrella is huge. Underneath of that Corps umbrella is tons of work, tons and tons of different things. It's wild what the Corps of Engineers is a part of. So he said, you know, you guys can all apply for this, and you'll go to interviews just like you would any normal job, and da da da. So one of the managers, his name's Tim Taylor. He's a good buddy of mine now. He's been on the podcast and stuff. He came and talked to us all in like a little assembly type thing, right? So he came and talked to us, and I don't know what it was, but this is one of those little things that I think changed my trajectory a little bit. So he had on, like, you know, just almost like golf pant, you know, just slacks or whatever. It wasn't anything lame or weird, and like a polo. And so he gets done telling us his whole story, and dude had his hand blown off, or he was missing like most of his left hand. So I just figured by his age and stuff like that, he probably got blown up, fucked up over there too. So I think we might have something like that in common. I never got blown up. I'm just saying was over there. So he's at the back of the room. Everybody's hitting him up about, I heard a couple of the people talking about pay, how much we get paid, how many days we have off, some weird shit like that. I guess I'm one of those people, obviously, that it's like if you look good, you feel good, you play good, you perform well, all those things, right? So I went up and introduced myself, and I said, hey, what is the dress code? And he said, look, Dom, you can wear jeans and a t-shirt. It can't say fuck you or have any of your political or whatever views on it, you know, just appropriate. Or you can go get yourself a couple pairs of slacks and some polos and separate yourself from the rest of the crew. Done. Alicia and I left, went, got like a couple outfits, just something. And that seems kind of weird and probably lame, but I knew I was going to be one of the older people in there, right? I think I was 34. I don't think I was 35 yet. Whatever. So we get that. I get the gig. Go in there and, you know, like I said, there were some younger people in there. So for lunch, they might go wherever and kind of like, I don't know, whatever, have a drink maybe. I just wasn't into that. Mind you, I'm newly clean and sober and all that. So that played a huge role in it too. But so I just I tried to work my ass off and do the best I could, because I know that there's probably only so many doors that are going to open with the Corps of Engineers. And if these people, the managers, can do anything for me, if they can do anything for any one of us, there was 20 of us, whatever, I want it to be me. I'm getting older. I have got some skills. I was a painter and shit for a long time, but like, I you know. So I just did the best I could, always asking questions. And frankly, a lot of the people that were younger than me knew a lot of these skills they were teaching us already. So they were kind of bored, whereas I'm like, I would scan what? You know, I was learning all kinds of cool shit. So one day, we had a FBI agent who did crime scene investigation, came in and gave us a certification on museum quality photography. Basically, we were just taking like Native American artifacts. It was a lot of data entry, right? There was some cool stuff, whatever, it doesn't really matter that much. But so it was a good program and it did pay well. But I knew that was coming to an end. So one day the door to the lab opens. Oh, And my title while I was in that program was an archaeological lab technician. Now I went and told that to some people who know me, and they got a kick out of it because that shit, I can barely spell archaeological, so much less like to be even working with one was kind of strange. But so the door opens one day to the lab. This is in the federal building downtown St. Louis. And my manager just goes, "Hey, Dom, get over here, man." I go walking over there, "What's going on?" It was the HR rep from the lock and dams here in the St. Louis district. And he said, "Hey, what do you think about being a lock and dam operator?" Now, I grew up partying on the Mississippi River south of here. I have never come up here before. I'm not from around here. I'm way out in the country. I'm from back in North County, Hazelwood, Florissant area. So we grew up hanging on the river, but never came all the way up here. We were partying down like by Grafton and Alton and shit, right? So I have no clue where this place is. I don't know what a lock and dam is. I know what a dam is as far as holding back water, but that's my extensive knowledge of what's going on with a dam. What do you think about being a lock and dam operator? I said, I'd love to. That's what I've always wanted to do. Kind of smart ass, but he vouched for me. And I knew he was vouching for me. So, I'm just like, whatever. So they actually paid us like 2 hours a day to research a job. Again, newly sober. I can pass any drug test, no problem. But I just need that shot. I need that interview. I need to hammer this one home. Finish up with the program. We all went to another Hawaiian-owned company. It was called Na'ali'i. And what we did there was we were taking old military files, paper files, and digitizing them. If your grandpa or your great-grandpa or your uncle or whoever was in the military, we're making it easier for you just to go online at this library in St. Louis and find them. It was a great gig. Got to digitize some really cool stories and take photos of some really neat artifacts. And so that was awesome. I didn't see a long-term future in that. It just didn't seem right. I'm not going to bag on those people, but it just didn't seem like it was something I was going to be retiring from. So I am on Maui with Alicia for our honeymoon in November of 2017. And I get a phone call. I would just check my phone once a day to make sure the kids were cool back home. And I get a phone call, and it is Tony Rice, the lockmaster of Lock and Dam 25, wanted to talk to me about an interview. I called to him, like, "Hey, Tony, it's Dominic, how you doing?" He's like, "Hey, what's going on, man? What are you up to?" I said, "Oh, I'm on Maui with my wife on our honeymoon." He's like, "Well, get the fuck off the phone, man. Go be with your wife. Call me later or something." I'm like, "No, this one's important, man." So we set up time, called him when I got back in town, set up an interview. Wouldn't you know it, I came down with strep like 2 days before. I'm like, motherfucker. I've been on antibiotics. I call him the day of the interview, and I said, "Tony, I don't want to lie to you, man. I have strep throat. I've been on antibiotics for 24 hours. I'm not contagious, but I want to give you a heads up just so you know I don't want to come get anybody sick." He goes, "Dom, we work out here on the river. We're all sick anyways. Don't worry about it. Come on in." So, "All right, I got another question for you." He's like, "What's up?" I said, "We just learned in this program," he knew the program I was a part of. "We just learned in this program," because we did a lot of interview skills and stuff like that. "We just learned in this program, wear a suit and all this stuff." I'm like, I know where I'm going, but I mean, it doesn't seem like a place to wear a suit. He goes, "Don't you wear no fucking suit out here, man. Just come out here." All right. Jeans and like a polo or something, trying to still be presentable. I'm a like tattooed guy and shit. So that's always in the back of my head. Like, how is this going to be perceived, right? Because it could be some dude who's, younger and doesn't give a fuck. It's more socially acceptable now. It's not as weird and like outlaw looking or whatever. But it could be a lot of people who still think it looks trashy and fucked up. Well, fuck them, but I get it. I want this job. So I come out here. Interview goes great. He's like, I'll give you a call, you know. End up getting a gig. Come to find out, a couple of the guys here actually voted against me. They're buddies of mine now, so I can laugh about it. They have since told me the whole story and you know, kind of taking their words back a little bit, because I'm a hard worker. I like to, you know, I want everybody to know they can count on me and trust me and all that kind of stuff. So it ended up working out. It was a little bit later in life, but I think the point to all that is, you know, you kind of never know when good things are going to happen. So making myself available was the best thing I could do, right? Asking what to wear for this lab job. I don't know if it mattered that much, but Tim is now a friend of mine, and he goes, it absolutely did. Because you got dudes in there that would wear like whatever t-shirt, and they're like, dude, you got to put tape over it. Like, so, I mean, that's just ridiculous, right? And while it could have been a little boring sometimes, meaning just being in a lab doing data entry, it's not fun, but knowing that the goal is outside of here, knowing that like I got to keep hammering this one so I can get to the next one. It was just a stepping stone thing. I don't think a lot of people looked at it that way. And I know a couple people did, and a couple people killed it, and they got jobs with the Corps and went on to do other things anyway. But my goal was to get in with the Corps. Security, benefits, pay, you know, all those things. You know, getting off of the drugs, huge fight. Getting the job, another fight. Interview, all these things just kind of played out. And back in the day, even before then, to get a job at a lock and dam, someone had to retire or die. Like, and I'm not saying that to be rude or weird or whatever, but some of the dudes that have been around here for 18, 15, 20 years, when they got their job, there was a stack of application. Like, you just didn't get these jobs before then. So, you know, another thing was 2 people happened to be retiring at that time. I mean, I just fell into this fucking thing, but had I not quit using, would that opportunity have been? No, absolutely not. And had I not really given a fuck or put forth the effort, Tim wouldn't have called me over there, because, you know, he's vouching for me, so he's got to answer these people. Hey, how's that shitbag? Why'd you send him our way? So I guess my point is just the hard work ended up paying off. So yeah, I've been here. This is 8 years. In December it'll be 8 years. It's a really good gig. Great benefits for my wife and kids. I mean, they are not expensive whatsoever. Braces for everybody, including myself. I got adult braces a couple years ago. Just too poor growing up to ever have them. So that part about it's cool. The one bitch that I have is the swing shift. If you've ever worked shift work, we have 2 12-hour shifts, 06 to 1800, 06. Somebody has to be here 24 hours a day. It only really takes 2 of us to run this place on the weekends and stuff like that. If there's a big maintenance or electrical concern, we call in the maintenance guys or electricians. But when you're around for long enough, majority of the things that are going to happen, you learn how to take care of without, you know, you still call them guys and let them know, but you learn how to kind of take care of it yourself. So it's been a great gig, and hopefully it just goes up from here. But I remember, I look back on that all the time and think about like what it took to get off of drugs. Because I mean, at the time when I was in my heavy usage, I mean, it was a lot, man. And I think the one thing that I learned, or that helped me the most, it's going to help, everybody's going to have their own thing. Everybody will have their own rock bottom. I got DWIs and went to jail and all kinds of shit too. It was people, places, and things. Having to change those. And as I mentioned before, that was really tough, because most of the people I used with were obviously friends and even some family. And So having to change your people, places, and things, meaning the people you're around, the places you go, and the things that you do, when you're an addict for that long, it was like 5 or 6 years, whatever it was, too fucking long enough for me. It's tough to do. And I understand that some people don't have an Alicia right now who can say, we got to get you out of here. You and these kids, we got to go. And move across the river to a place that I don't know people. And can't just go up and down every street and know where the dope house is and know where the dude is, you know. I understand not everybody has that, but you've got something. And, you know, you got to try to look for it. And the things I were doing, like start to get back into running and you know, whatever the examples are that I have, they might work for you, they might not. But I tell people all the time, I try to talk to people who are going through it, the addiction struggles and shit. And the people, places, and things is, I think, what helped me the most. And the support system. I mean, I had like counselors on the podcast. Dr. Larry Shapiro was on there with me. I know that he helped save my life and my marriage for sure. Chris, Tim, a bunch of people, but you know, honestly, it was mostly Alicia, not having, and the kids, you know, the kids were still young enough to where they didn't know all the details. And as they get older, I'm kind of coming out with a little bit more, you know, I want them to be aware. And if my mistakes can help you or someone you know, or my kids or your kids or any kids, then it was worth it if I can help people go down that road. Because really it's just a waste of fucking time. Terrible for you. It makes you feel bad. You know, there's nothing good. You don't know any. You might be the one that knows a dope dealer or user that ended up retiring and it is now living a happy life. I sure don't. All the ones I know are in prison or been to prison or getting out of prison or fucking dead. So that's no road for you or me or anybody else. So yeah, that's kind of like the little background story on how I got my job and started a career, which I didn't even see in my future. It wouldn't be so, it would be pretty stereotypical and on board for me to go to prison. Most of my family has done time. If you have been listening to the podcast, my sister just got out. I don't think that was drug related, but the point is it was going to lead to something bad anyway. So, you know, that's kind of the story behind what I'm doing here all night long and why. But all in all, it's a good gig. I can support my family. I am trying to figure out how to get off of this swing shift thing because as I get a little bit old, 41 now, as I get a little bit older, it's a little bit tougher to, you know, just a back and forth. But again, if that's my biggest complaint, it's not too bad. I work with good guys. I've learned how to weld and all kinds of cool mechanical and maintenance type stuff here. So all in all, it's been a great experience. But yeah, so if I hope this helps you or anybody you know, or maybe it was just a story for me to tell. Either way, I kind of had some fun doing it. So if you know anybody that, I don't know, has any questions or anything weird, leave me a comment or something. But other than that, just wanted to sit down and talk to you, and this is what I felt like talking about. So here it is. All right, man, you check out my podcast, PJ's Son. And other than that, man, be cool. Take care of yourselves and do something nice for somebody. See ya.